Question number 5. True love cannot be measured, so that is invaluable. The Nightingale and the Rose. Answer number 5. The heart-wrenching prose Nightingale and the Rose was written by the most famous British writer Oscar Wilde during the postmodern era. Through this amazing prose, the author portrays the different perspectives of love and lets us understand the true love which can't be measured and priceless among those views of love through the central character Nightingale. Let's examine those things in following paragraphs. First of all, when we glance at the perspective of the student towards the love, he doesn't have enough idea about what true love means in this world. Just for the love which was built by the conditions, the young student is wasting his time by revealing tender feelings. But we all know that true love is a very pure which is built without any conditions. But here the writer draws the image of the fake love which was prevailed in that society in the name of true love. She would dance with me if I brought her a red rose, cried the young student. The above extract, which is extracted from the very beginning part of the prose, tells that the love which the student is yearning for is a sake of love, where if the condition is true, it may become as success. Otherwise, it will become as unsuccessful, like a coding in computers. But true love is not like that. Here, the student values the weight of his love by the red rose and dancing with his pair in the ball. And in the end, we can read the full prose. When we read the full prose, we can understand that the love which the student believes as true love doesn't go in a healthy way. So, through this kind of perceptive of student towards the love, author reinforces the true love is not dependent on the conditions or measured not by the acts which we do together. It is based on the real feelings which have no conditions. Next, when we talk about the perspective of the professor's daughter, she also seems to have a strange view about love. She fulfills her need in the name of love. Her love towards a young student is to fulfill her desires. So we can understand that when she see a person who has better things than the young student has, she will change her love as well. So we can tell that it is not a true love. And here the professor's daughter measures her love with a red rose. And when we move on, we can understand that she gives up her love as she gets the real jewels from the Chamberlain's nephew. If we love someone, each and everything they do for us is priceless things. But here she gives the value for the things than love. She thinks that materials are materials are best than love. Jewels host more than flowers. But with true love, we can say that everything seems as priceless. Finally, when we move on, we can find the true form of love through the bird nightingale. The student and the professor's daughter view the love as a thing which give delight and fulfill their needs. But the nightingale view the love as a connection between two souls and hearts which connected emotionally. She sings about the birth of love between the heart of a man and the heart of a maid. The nightingale singing also describes her view towards love, which is so pure and priceless. And for someone who she seems always and admires every day, she dares to sacrifice her life, as she thinks that the student's love is true. From this act, we can find out the essence of true love, which has an ability to whatever to make the loving one happy. That's why we can't define it by the words or other things. It is dearer than fire of opals. True love can't be expressed by words and can't be compared to anything in this world. We can only feel it as it is a form of purity. That's why true love is priceless as well. So, in a sublime conclusion, we can tell that by portraying student, professor's daughter, and Nightingale's view of love, let us realize what is true love and what are the qualities of it which separates it from the fake love which we find in student and professor's daughter's heart. Question number 6. The poem Breakfast shows the lack of communication leads to trivial conflicts, which makes human beings frustrated. Answer number 6. The simple poem Breakfast was written by the famous French poet Jacques Prévert after the World War II. As it was a poem written after the World War II, Jacques Prévert paints the lifestyle of the people who met trivial conflict because of the communicational breakdown, which was the skyrocketing problem at the times. Let's examine these things in following paragraphs. The poem's narration centers around the main actions of making breakfast. But when we read the poem, we can understand that the simple actions of the husband, which seems as not only a physical but also the verbal ignorance to the wife, makes her to narrate the poem in a sympathetic manner, without speaking to me, without looking at me. The repetition of the diction without also emphasizes how the wife was affected because of the lack of communication. We all know that good communication can solve any problems in our lives. But here, as wife is yearning to connect with her husband verbally, she feels very sympathetic and finally she was crying because of the unbearable pain which comes from lack of communication. Even though husband is making breakfast, his ignorance to communicate with his wife in the early morning seems as conflicted action, which not only gives sorrow to the wife but also gives the frustration to the husband as well. Accents which should significantly intimately actions which should signify intimacy, such as pouring coffee and stirring sugar, become as a tension in the absence of communication. The man's strange gestures in the early morning, like lighting cigarettes, putting his raincoat, and leaving home in such a bad weather, are some significant example of the frustration which the people are experiencing because of the absence of communication. He put on his raincoat because it was raining. Here, husband thinks that living in such a bad weather is quite nice than staying with his wife, which is the example of internal depression. The raincoat, worn because it was raining, serves as an emotional barrier shielding the husband engaging with the speaker. And this kind of communicational breakdown creates a dam between the natural flow of the close relationship. Hence, this kind of dam not only breaks the relationship of the people, but also give the unbearable pain and frustration. Moreover, the climax of the poem, where the speaker puts her head in her hand and weeps, encapsulates the profound human frustration uh, resulting from the lack of communication. The fear symbolizes the overwhelming burden carried by the absence of verbal communication. So, in a nutshell, uh, in a sublime conclusion, we can tell that through the vivid imagery and the symbolism, poet tells the effects of trivial conflict which are coming from the lack of communication. Moreover, this poem comes as a message to have open communication with people which can bridge the gaps and aids us to live a peaceful life without depression.